Hey, welcome back to another episode of Muscles and Malpractice, your weekly dose of fitness, health, and everything between. I'm one of your hosts, Andrew Bustos, and to my right,
Dr. Martin.
Ooh, hey,
I came in there a little quick today.
Yeah, dude, what you got to slow it down a little bit, man. You're excited.
Man.
I forget you don't have a job right now. I always, people don't realize is that you're a little slower when you're working. Like you're like, hey,
I don't know.
I'm Dr. Martin.
Oh, is that what OBs tend to be known for, their slow, methodical style, huh?
Yeah, one of your colleagues was telling me that she's like, you know what? She broke her leg, and so we're rehabbing or whatever. I'm not a licensed physical therapist, so I can't really say that. We're getting stronger, and she tells me, you know what? I got to sprint, and I'm like, for what? Where do you sprint into? She goes, I sprint down the hallways.
Bro.
And I was like, bro, so you're sprinting down, like you never know. And so I tease her a little bit about it. So she's listening to it. I was teasing her about it. I was like, so you're sprinting down the hallway? I mean, you never know when an emergency may happen. So I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you.
No.
I was going to ask you, fellow OB guy, not going to work here anymore.
Not going to work there no more. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, like, I was curious about that. Do y'all have an occasion where you have to sprint down the hallway for an emergency? Has that happened?
I got to tell you, I mean, this is a funny way for us to like start out. I didn't see us go in this direction, but that it's actually something I methodically almost never do the other way for a very intentional reason, actually. And I do see on occasion people like that physician who will be running, and I'm kind of like, why?
Okay, so you don't run. I was curious.
No, like I do. There are, so OB, and to that point's credit, it's one of the few disciplines that really has the argument to be seen in hospital hallways dashing down the hall. And I have done it, and it has probably been within the last 2 months. I mean, it doesn't, but it just doesn't happen like, a baby's coming. It's like you can get there usually. I mean, I'm just thinking from the person that you're potentially alluding to. It's a little tougher when you're not on site too. Like you feel like you probably need to be a little bit more like, once you get there, you have to be as present as quickly as you possibly can. But what I do think is a lot of times, again, that the running, and so again, I always wear my boots too. So my boots help me always go like, how important is this? Because when I start bolting down hallways in my boots, first off, people are usually pretty impressed. But secondly, that sounds like a hurricane coming at people. So I usually even have to run in this weird way where I run kind of on my tiptoes, so the soles of those boots aren't just like,
oh yeah, dude, you gotta like
floor.
Almost cumbia king it down,
right?
Like cumbia.
And what's funny is, again, there is rarely a time where, I could get into the physics of some weird stuff with this, where it's like, if you drive 40 miles an hour to somewhere versus 20, you get there like in half the time. But when you drive 60 versus 40, even though it's 20 miles faster, you only get there in a third better time. So like there's this really funny like presentation a physicist did on how by speeding over the speed limit by like 10 miles an hour versus just driving like the speed limit, you really aren't saving yourself that much time over longer distances, especially. This is getting way too nerdy.
No,
but
dude,
the point is that
the point.
Running doesn't usually save anything. Even though you might run because you feel like you need to, right?
Yeah.
So we run because we think it's an emergency. And obviously, why wouldn't you? Nobody wants to see like a gunshot victim have their doctor like stroll into the room with like a Twinkie in his mouth, like, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's happening?
Right. So there has to be some level of intention to getting to emergencies always. But I think runs are saved for the truly bad scenarios. The reason I say that is because you have to balance, not even just for the nurses and your allied health professionals and everybody else, your team, the hospital's team, who you're working with to take care of that patient, but the people in the hospital too are going to see this physician bolting down the hall. And that usually just doesn't necessarily send the best message of control and safety, I would say, even though it's part of the element of just people understand there's emergencies in the hospital and in healthcare. But the other thing I quickly learned when I started out 10 years ago, and even actually in residency, again, I keep talking about residency, and that's been a decade for me now. But it's crazy because in OB especially, you have some of the most adrenaline kind of like moments and high stakes scenarios with people's lives in your hand, with their babies in your hand. And there can be some truly scary things happening. And the last thing that needs to be happening is for people to know that around you too. The nurses who are very capable and good seeing this being a scary scenario is, I feel like running starts to already trigger that idea in their head like, is this in control? And
Mm.
everybody in almost any situation an OBGYN's in a room in, there might be one peer of like an anesthesiologist or another OBGYN, but usually you are looked to be that calm in the storm, right? So it's weird because I think honestly too, like I am an anxious and high strung person by nature. I have no idea sometimes. I think I am a little bit of an adrenaline junkie myself though too. I think that's kind of like the weird double-edged sword of why I do OBGYN. But I think in those truly scary and like hard moments, like I get more calm, almost like not even trying anymore because it's just time to be very like you have to like meditatively like know that this is the time to have intentional thinking, to be very clear-minded, to be making sure that you're very direct and simple in your communication and to just be like in control. So I think the more frenetic you can look sometimes, the worse that's going to come off. So weirdly, you just asked a question about if I run to delivery, and I gave you a 5-minute answer
And
about going into
that's
physics
what
and
you do.
everything.
You just you got to dive into it. I asked. So what you're saying, doctor, is I need to take this a lot more serious than than expected.
No, and look, I think that's
Because I know she was joking,
I
but I'm
know. See, that's
also
what I
but
mean.
it's
Is like
but it's
honestly,
also like
that
I better
particular
take
OB
this
is
seriously
always
because these guys are running. So we better get this leg ready to go.
Yeah, I like honestly again, we both know who we're talking about as do most people who listen to this, and she is as confident and capable an OB as I've ever met. It's the beauty of OB. It's the beauty of why there's quite a few of my patients getting texts today, getting called already at the office, and whether for these people are gonna follow me out there. Cause I think there's just a connection on that like a different level of like people want to form a very good bond with their provider when it's their unborn child and them that they're taking care of. Women do kind of develop a more intrinsic like closeness to that provider, I think, and they want to feel, I don't know, not necessarily a kinship, but like a trust on a different level. And you can't just easily replace that with, I'll go to this other doctor you tell me is good necessarily.
And that makes sense. That makes really good sense. Thank you for your professional
You're
advice.
welcome. I love to get professional opinions when I don't have much to do professionally.
I know, man. I just feel
Yeah.
like as an unemployed doctor this week. I know next
Stop
week
saying
you'll
that.
be employed. I'm not used to it. Usually you're like, "Hey, welcome to the show.
I
I've been
don't
up
do
for
that.
24 hours, saving lives. I'm just here just because I don't want to get fined.
All right.
I'm just here
I'm
so I don't
just
want to
here.
get fined.
I'm just here.
Not really, not really.
Is
Okay, I
that a
got to
Gatorade bottle up here? Oh, that's going
wait.
down.
Oh wait, let me get some more Gatorade in and some Milani new. All right. I got another one for you. So I saw a stat the other, and I didn't see a stat, more so a conversation. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
switch to steroids, but we're going to
Oh,
switch to steroids and baseball.
all
So I
right.
was explaining to my wife the other day, she got into sports when we got married almost 13 years ago. She never watched a lick of sports. She didn't play any sports. She's a theater person, but she's very athletic. She just was never given an opportunity back in the 90s to do that, early
Yeah.
2000s. Ooh, a little feedback. We were watching one morning, like I always do, Get Up on ESPN, and a guy from I guess it's Chicago White Sox hit a home run, and he's leading the league in home runs, like 34 or 35 before the All Star break. The All Star break's coming up, so it pulled up like from the 2000s, 2000, and I guess what was it, 2001 when the home run chase was going with McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Ken
Yeah.
Griffey Jr.,
Yeah.
Barry
Yeah.
Bonds. I guess Barry Bonds was the next year. Anyways, so it showed the people. So it showed Mark McGuire like in 4 boxes. So like how we're presented right now, like two
All right.
boxes and then the rest of the two. So it had this guy and he was matching up with Griffey. Then it had McGuire, Sosa, and then it had Barry Bonds. And so I was telling her, I said, Man, that was the time watching baseball. I mean, I remember being a young kid. I guess I wasn't that young, but I was in high school, and I was like, "Man, that's so awesome! Like this is it." But nobody knew they were taking steroids, so it actually like shows how big they are compared to the guys that are today. Like these guys were massive, massive men. I think even had Canseco on there too. Like it had Jose, and so I started thinking about steroids. So I was like, "Man." I said, honey, everybody during this era was probably taking steroids,
Mhm.
but I wish everybody could take steroids now so you could actually see like how awesome it was to see these guys hit home runs and how invested people were in baseball. But I wanted to hear, because I know you're thinking, I wanted to hear like what you
Well,
think.
I'm thinking of what's that? No one thought it would go anywhere, and the those games that they came up with. They're doing an Olympics that is take all the roids
No
and
way they
performance
are.
enhancer. Yes, bro.
What, dude? You got to pull it up. I don't even know what
I
you're
need
talking
to
about.
find
That is
it.
freaking awesome. Now, I'm not about cheating. I'm not about the. I feel like everybody should be on an even playing field. Like Altuve should hook him up with like some freaking shredder steroids from Ninja Turtles. You know, make him look like, hey, I'm here to bat. Here we go. And like he walks up there and he
Dude, I mean
looks.
that's the old South Park too, where like Timmy and they do the Special Olympics,
That's
and
right.
then
That's
and
right.
he's like, "I'm gonna come make and compete with Ona," and
Yeah,
like they're
there we
like
go.
showing McGuire and everybody, like, yeah.
But I don't know. That popped in my head earlier as we were talking about what to talk about, what I was going to ask today. But I was thinking about steroids and in like the reality of baseball. Like people don't understand that in sport, like steroids, what it actually does for you as a competitor. Like what the things that it really like. If could you tell if a woman was taking steroids? Have you ever like met with a patient and you're like, bro, you taking them steroids? We're gonna have to back off just a bit.
Well, I mean, with steroids as well as with testosterone, I mean, with steroids, it's harder to know exactly how people might physiologically respond a little bit. I think with testosterone, it's a little more like predictable in terms of like they're going to get viralized eventually. So they're going to have a deeper
Hey
voice. They're
man,
going to get acne. They're going to get more male like features, right? So they can even get facial hair. They can even get, which is kind of like an enlargement of down there in a way that is not
get a little wee
reversible.
wee. Yeah. Get them little wee wees out there. You're like, hey, what is that down there? What's going on down there?
So I mean
Wrong
that's what
department.
the women most of the time again are not wanting this for performance enhancing things that I know of, right? Like I might take care of some athletes, but like that's not going to be day to day. The day to day people that want like stuff like testosterone are the
Uh,
ladies like middle age, right? Because
yeah,
they
they're
like
just like,
want
I
to,
just want to have
right? I
more
want to feel
energy.
that energy again. I want
I
to
want
kind
to
of get
feel
my
young.
libido back, and they do
Libido.
those things. It
Yeah,
does those things. You just have to be aware that those risks exist as
I
well.
got you. I got you. I got you. Well, if I'm going too deep into this, are you like when you sit them down, you're like, all right, let me you're like, all right, let's get that there. All right, here we go. We're gonna let's
I
tie
mean,
this up,
so
and then we're gonna.
I know I've never really done a lot of, especially like, again, testosterone is kind of not as much traditionally recommended by our governing body of American College of Obstetricians and Gynecology.
Oh,
But
but
I mean, in the world of spa medicine and in the interest of trying to kind of be there for patients instead of potentially someone who would willingly step in that's not a safe care provider. I think a lot more doctors have started their exploring the idea of doing things like this, of doing the bioidentical hormones, the pellet therapies, things like this.
mm,
I do believe where I'm going to work is gonna have some of that pellet therapy stuff. Again, I think it's always just a conversation about to each patient, like these are the risks, these are the benefits. Here's what I think you really are gonna get out of this. And you have to understand though that like these are the things that, you know, the thing I always kind of make people boil back down to when they start to ask about this or that is you can die from drinking too much water, right? So like
tell me
at
about it.
the end of the day, I probably wouldn't know that as well as you
Yeah,
would
you
because
don't
I'm
drink any
not a big
water.
water drinker.
Yeah,
But I will say in general, like everything has risks entailed to it. So you really have to decide that the problem is bad enough that you're willing to take something that has its own risks built into it too. And I think that's something people always want to forget about, especially in our just modern, this take the pill, give me the thing that fixes this thing. Is the problem really bad enough? Do you know that you'd feel okay with the decision you made if it put you into acute kidney failure for some reason? You had to get dialyzed for a week and, there were these problems of this and that. Is it going to happen to you likely? No. But
Yes. Sorry, I'm not a doctor.
well, I mean, come on. We do know that that is the funny thing about the culture with bodybuilding, right? And
Mm.
with elite athletes and PEDs or performance enhancing drugs, which I have the Wikipedia page pulled up here for us now too, is
Yeah.
what I see a lot on TikTok is these people as well as you and I especially, but they know themselves. I find it at least a little bit eye opening to know that they know that they're leveraging their future for today. It's weird. It's like you see these guys who are like, no, I'm not natty. I take a bunch of drugs and
Yeah.
they'll be responding to somebody in the comments. It's like, your heart's going to be the size of an elephant at 40 and you're going to die.
And
And
they're like, "Heck yeah."
yeah, their response in that video will be like, "Oh, world's tiniest violin." I'm like, that's kind of weird. I give you credit for understanding that you know what you're leveraging,
Heck
but that
yeah.
and again, that's that person's choice to make in life. I just find it a little bit peculiar that we've also come to a place in this world where people are so in pursuit of a likely objectively unhealthy self view that they will do that, right? That they will,
Mm.
their perception of health and fitness has now morphed into something that actually is hurting their
Yeah.
own health
Yeah.
and fitness,
Uh,
which is, again, great. I don't know how we came into this topic today. We really, I'm just telling you guys out there, we kind of came up with this one on the fly, but
no,
this
I
is kind of
love you
great.
sound so good. So good, Dr. Martin.
But here we go. Like just the quick snippet here, bro. Like they thought this was a joke. I remember. So like, look, Aaron D'Souza, Australian businessman, proposed multi-sport event, performance enhancing substances without being subject to drug tests. He creates a game where athletes are entitled to do what they wish with their own bodies, and the IOC is corrupt and not paying them enough.
Nice.
And
Nice.
it's, I mean, yeah, we're starting them in 20,
2026.
2026.
Dude, that's going to be awesome. I'd love to see. They still got to hit the ball, bro. Still got to hit the ball.
Commentators highlighting the safety risk of encouraging performance enhancing
They're like, you know
drugs.
what? Hey, this is ESPN the Ocho. Make sure you're not taking your steroids from any
Yeah,
general.
tell Timmy that he does not need to do this, even
Just make
though
sure.
we're definitely promoting it by showing you this.
We're showing you this guy. He is in perfect peak condition, but he's not able to go to the bathroom. So,
Yeah. I remember this James
man,
Magnuson guy was like, he's the first one that was like, yeah, I'll do it. I mean,
yeah,
like,
he
it's
would.
insane.
I've never taken steroids, so I'm assuming you never have either.
No.
Can't ever
Although I
report nor
feel like, yeah,
deny.
I mean, look, when you start doing things, but see, I think you and me have both talked about this before. At one point or another, I was suspicious people were kind of trying to say or hint that I was, and you had the same thing happen to you as well, like where you
Yeah.
were like
Yeah, I
getting
got
really,
drug tested. Yeah,
yes, and
twice.
and I'm just kind of like, that is a shame that there's just one more way that like your fitness journey suddenly becomes somebody else's thing to make some editorial comment that causes you to be introspective about it again. And that
Heck yeah.
sucks. I really do hate that. But no, I have definitely taken a lot of supplements. And again, we can always get back into that. I feel like that's a topic we can always go back into and reach into a bag of either repeating some supplements about what we take and what we like, or what I've taken or think is not worth doing or taking for the safety risks of it, or that there's any validation for. Going into that, I think the other thing you and me had just talked about in the green room was actually a family friend had reached out yesterday. And so I'm going to just share. Bro, I changed all this stuff on my desktop. Do you wanna see some cool look at my cool I'm gonna show you my background first, because like,
What?
you
You're
know
just gonna show people your background to your
well, I
computer
just love
screen?
it, bro. Like,
Is it
because
like
I
your
found this
family?
and I
Nobody wants
just
to see your beautiful family, bruh.
no, it's more
Nobody.
about,
Just Katie.
I want you to tell me what this is here in a second because I just, like
What is
it
this?
come
What is it?
what is this?
Tell me, can you take another look at this? Can you take another
Can you take a look at this real quick?
Oh, dude, is that a fallopian tube, bro? No. Is that a vagina into uterus into a
Yeah, dude, it's modern
oh,
art of a female anatomy, dude.
oh
I love stuff
gosh.
like that.
Are
Like
you
that
trying to study it right now since you don't have a job? You're trying to learn a little bit more about it?
but I mean, like I do love modern art. I do love kind of stuff like I never liked all the floral representations of that kind of stuff. So I just thought that was such a nifty like image. So I was like, oh,
So
new background, new
tell me
background.
what do you see when you look at that? Like what is the what do you what is
I mean, what I look at when because again, a lot of the OBGYN depictions of female anatomy are this, and it looks, I think it's interesting to me how a
Mhm.
lot of people, even women, would look at that aren't, I don't know, I don't want to generalize too much, but it's kind of like, I don't think we understand female anatomy as a culture, honestly, like on some level, right? I think a lot of people
Hey,
kind of go like, am I going to hurt the baby if I have sex
we're
with my
talking
wife? You know what I mean? Like,
gotcha.
so I always, one of the things OBGYNs are supposed to do is to be actually very comfortable and skilled and educated in talking about sexual health
Yeah.
and that medical
Mm,
area.
mm.
And I think one of the things that it's such a faux pas to even be talking about sex and saying these words. But like that's kind of why I do things like this. Like, I mean, nobody's gonna really see my desktop that much at my house, but like when I get on planes, I'll read articles. Like I've never been that embarrassed to need to kind of like do the work that I do. And I just feel like if people want to ask a question or something, I'm like there to talk about it. I just think it's better that you like, I appreciate it. It is a very, to me, you could call that the cradle of life right there, bro.
Dang. Okay,
Right?
so Dr. Martin just answered this. How about 18-year-old Stuart Martin? Could he could he answer with
That's what I'm saying. 18-year-old Stuart Martin, even being an
gosh.
AP high school student, may not have even like, is that like a, you know what I mean? It's, I think, but if you'd shown him a picture of male anatomy, and not to mention almost every 18-year-old, whether they're boy or girl, it's like instant recognition,
Oh,
right?
I
So,
got to Oh, okay, go ahead, keep going.
but that's not like so. I do think like it's kind of something that just this little thing for me. It's not like a friggin' thing I'll die on a hill about. And I'm like the soldier, like we got to look at uteruses and fallopian. But like I just don't want it to be something to shy away from.
I
So I
got
just
you. I
thought it was a
got you.
really cool picture of it. Everybody's definitely going to be getting on to look at what we're looking at.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "What are y'all looking at?
What
What
are they
the?
looking at?
What is it? We just like to look at fallopian tubes here, bruh. Fallopian." So I gotta tell you a little tidbit. We went to the YMCA. My son wanted to go swim with his buddies, so we had to go chaperone the kids, and it's right down the street. And if you've ever been to a YMCA, I'm not dogging a YMCA. I'm just gonna tell you a story about what happened. So he's in the pool, he gets out of the pool. I'm sitting there. He said, "Hey, Dad, I need to go to the bathroom." I said, "Well, the bathroom's in the locker room, bro. Go to the bathroom." He's like, "Why would I go to the locker room?" I said, "You got to go to the locker room if you're going to use the bathroom." I didn't know there was a family room too. Okay, so we'll get there in a second. But anyways, I was like, "Yeah, you just need to go to the bathroom." So I don't go in there with him. He instantly goes in and he comes out like within 3 seconds. So
Oh, dude,
what do
that
you think, bro?
yo, you know what happened, dude. I had that moment too as a kid,
Dude,
and so did
dude,
you,
10
bro.
years old, he comes out, he's like, "Dad, there's a bunch of naked men in there." And I said, "Welcome, my son, to
The
the
elephant trunk swing,
YMCA."
dude.
They don't care at all. The old guys are like, "What's up? Let me flop this around and hit you in the face real quick, young boy. Here, let me flop this one around. Sorry, just trying to
It's
get
almost like
dressed
it's
here." But I didn't even think about
over
it.
here.
But I didn't think about it,
Just
dude.
because the left or the right.
Yeah, I didn't think about that at all. Like I wasn't like processing that, but he came back out and he totally so his little buddies over there and they're doing backflips or whatever, and he walks over to him and I know immediately what he's gonna tell them. And he goes, hey, guess what? I saw some old dudes' weenies in there, and so they're all like, they're laughing. I know because I don't even know what they're saying, but I know he said it. And what's so funny, he didn't even go in there, but I forget this generation. Even though I get it, even if we walk in there, we're gonna be like, bro, can you put some pants on? But you kind of get immune to it. Like you're like, what?
Well,
Okay, cool.
but do you remember when
It's the
that first happened to
YMCA,
you?
dude.
Because I was
Yes.
probably about I don't even want to fucking I need to check my privilege at the door, but it
Yeah.
was at like a freaking country club in Houston when I was like 12. And I walked into one of those, and it was a big country club in Houston. It's called the Houstonian, and it's like this vast sea of old and
Yeah.
very naked men.
Yeah, come to the jacuzzi, young boy, and let's sit here with us while we all just splash each other.
And you just like I didn't, I guess now the reaction would be to be like slowly step away
Yeah.
out. But like I do kind of remember just kind of like trying like it's like trying really hard not to not look somebody in the eyes, you know what I mean? Like you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
you're like
like
looking
you
down, like, oh crap, looking straight at it. I'm right on it now. Right on it.
oh no, what happened?
Oh, you went away. Yeah, but so anyways, he and it's funny, I took him to the family locker room, and they have like individual cubicles where you can like lock the door, close it, and use the other, they won't be able to see anything, which I get, and I appreciate that about the YMCA.
Yeah.
But I remember, dude, when I was in sixth grade in New Mexico, Carlsbad, New Mexico, doctors like yourself, but you wouldn't have done this because you're not a male doctor or a general practitioner. But I remember to get our physicals in the
Mm-hmm.
locker room, there was like, I'd say 50 boys or 50 to 100 kids. They'd line us up and they'd be like, all right, now drop them. So we'd all drop. It was like kind of like
Drop 'em.
like everybody drop at the same time. So like domino effect going down all the way down because we had a long locker room. And I remember, dude, being next to like juniors and seniors. And there I am in sixth grade, just waiting to be like, okay, here it comes down. Just
Mm-mm.
looking around, kind of doing the old eyeball test, just kind of siding it, doing that whole deal. And I just, man, crushed me, but I couldn't wait to become older, right? Junior, senior. I was like, here we go. Time to take them off. Who cares? Just cough, cough, left, left, right, right. Let's go.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, see, you lived in Houston. It was a little
Oh no,
different up
dude! In
there.
my high school, they had, like I think I remember that's one of the few times my dad kind of reacted to like the high school I went to is like a really nice high school too, and they built this huge brand new field house, with, big money donor and all this stuff, and it came in like right when I started high school, and the male locker room, the football team's locker room, everything, it had stall showers as opposed to like no,
Open. Yeah,
yeah, as
no,
opposed
no,
to like
nothing, dude.
yeah,
That's what we had. Nothing,
yeah.
bro. It was like
Yeah.
everybody at the same time. Here we go.
I mean, I think that's still to this day a lot of especially in Texas. I mean, I almost
Yeah.
feel like people like kind of are like, that's the way it's done. You all get in there together. And it's like the army too. Like
Yeah.
army still does that shit.
Well, that's a little different, bro. It's the
It's
army.
team building though. I like on
Yeah.
some of it's kind of like
Well,
you lose. It's not okay. Team building might not be the way I'd put it. Let's
hey,
put
let's all touch each other. It don't sound right,
nobody's
buddy.
promoting touching each
That's
other here.
Oh,
That's
sorry, dude. You said team building. I
non-consensual,
didn't
bro.
know that was what they did.
What I mean by team building, actually, the better way of putting it, I think, psychologically, is that you're supposed to lose some sense of self in hopes of a more like greater good, like a one with the rest, right? Like you are part
Oh,
of
kind of like
a
naked and
bigger
afraid,
thing,
right? Like a little
right?
naked and
Naked
afraid.
and okay,
Yeah, is that what you're
naked and
you're
afraid.
looking to? Teamwork. We're
No,
in this together.
we're in this
Yeah,
together. We're
we're gonna
all naked in
survive
here, and we're
for
gonna make
21
it.
days together. I don't know, dude. It maybe the way I am is because of the upbringing of high school and everything. You know what I mean? Nobody physically touched me, bro. Don't be trying to analyze me over here, okay? I'm just saying they just let us. It was like I even remember at times I'd be taking a shower and be like washing my hair, and all of a sudden I'd be like, how come the shampoo is not out of my hair, and then some douchebag be behind me like pouring shampoo in my hair as I'm trying to, because my eyes are shut, right? And it's like, God, why is the soap still coming? Like, what the? I've been washing my hair, and some dude's back there, got you. Oh, so funny.
That's
God, you
funny.
guys are idiots. Athletes are idiots. This is just
I mean,
dumb.
they are. They are
This
for
is
sure.
dumb. That's why I became a OBGYN, nerd, nerd. Oh gosh, life.
Okay. Well,
Speaking of Naked and Afraid, you ever watch Naked and Afraid?
yeah. We've
You
talked about
don't watch
that.
it.
I know, like, I feel like with Naked and Afraid, you get into it for a while, and then, like, you're
Yeah.
kinda like, "Okay, this same story is playing out for the millionth time right now."
Yeah, dude. I just watched one. I know it came out like in 2023, this episode, I think it was, or 22. But a couple of people from Europe, they came to New Mexico, and had to survive New Mexico. And they literally, within the first like 2 to 3 minutes of the episode, had to kill a rattlesnake. And they
Oh, shit.
killed it with their naked and afraidness.
Not with their naked and
Dude,
afraidness, come
they
on
had
now.
like the dude jumped on the snake, and smushed it and everything with a stick. And then I guess the woman was like some type of like survivalist, but she ended up having to sit out for not she didn't go out, but she was going to leave because she has Hashimoto's. Do you know anything about Hashimoto's?
Yeah.
What the heck is Hashimoto's?
So it's a type of thyroid dysfunction, is Hashimoto's thyroiditis. For the most part, you end up potentially with having subclinical hypothyroidism. So basically, they need thyroid supplementation. Sometimes they can actually end up having the opposite kind of effect for a little bit due to antibodies attacking the thyroid. But why did she have to leave?
Well, she didn't have to leave. It got cold, so her body temperature would lower faster
Okay.
than the bros. And so she was like, from where was she from? Hungary. So she kind of thought like this. She was like, I need some more heat. So you have to go and get it for me, please. And the British guy was like, I guess I'll go and get it for you. Okay. You just take care of you. Is that pretty good? That's pretty good, huh? Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was pretty
Uh-huh.
good.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah, you're looking up something. You're not even listening. I
I
always have to
am
listen to
looking up
you
something
forever
because
and
I am
talk.
like, you know how nerdy I am with our podcast, and I'm really annoyed with. So apparently, there's some audio settings I have. Like, I needed to do a
Dude,
firmware
can you
update on my
please get
mic,
back to
bro.
work so we can
I
actually get a
know, bro.
podcast going?
Like,
My
well,
gosh. You showed me all those
God.
pretty signs and your pretty new place that you're working at, but
Well, okay. So speaking of which, I want you to be able to hear me better going forward. And I feel like people do know that this is starting to take off a little bit. So we are seeing some real, a little bit of early traction on people listening. And I
whoa.
did tell you that I was going to
What?
get you something before we left, and I
No.
haven't really.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
My
So
mic's perfect. My mic is
I'm
the
not getting
best
a
mic
mic.
you ever.
So then
Don't.
that's great.
Nope. I don't even
So
want a camera. Don't you
that.
dare buy me nothing. You better not.
So
Nope.
I got
Without
you these
further ado,
headphones, bro.
what is it?
So these are from Shure, dude. They're in-ear monitor headphones.
Shoot, those are sick.
Yeah, dude. They go around, like the people like on your mom's house and everything that wear like the
Oh,
real.
yeah, yeah.
You got like a billion tip. Like I never really bothered to try these out that much. I remember I told you I was gonna get
How do
them
you
and
plug
see.
them in? You just plug them into the mic or?
Yes. Yep. They're just headphone jack. But you
Whoa.
put them into like their dual monitor, right? So that's why you see this got a cord over here. So every kind of decent headphones for like recording has a dual monitor function. So I try to figure out all this stuff for you, but again, you got like a million headphone things to figure this out with. So everybody's going to know if you didn't take my gift and use it
Oh, yeah,
effectively to
definitely
help
gonna
our
burn it.
podcast.
Well, I guess I'll use them now, but you didn't have to buy those. I appreciate you doing
Well, I
that,
bought
you
them, and
know?
then I know you'd feel better if I bought them and then said they were a regift. So that's what they
Oh, that's
are.
better. Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
regift it.
I mean
Yeah,
they're
I'm gonna
not going to get used otherwise.
regift them to somebody.
Who? If
I
I
don't
see
know,
Maya
somebody.
walk in listening to Bluey
Yeah, dude, she'd
with
be like,
those,
"Bluey," whatever, however the song goes. Doo, doo,
that's
doo,
my son.
doo. Oh wait, that was John Cena. Sorry, dude. Put John Cena on you. Little
Yeah,
heel turn.
how can you not know Bluey?
Do 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 do. Oh, there we go. Yeah. We need Blue on the show. I wonder if he makes appearances. Probably.
Bluey?
Yeah.
So first off, you just made the biggest mistake that I recently learned.
It's a
Bluey is a
girl.
girl.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Is that are we? Gosh dang it!
I
See,
mean,
I
it
never
makes
know
sense
anymore,
when you
bro.
start to hear more. Like, I'm just like, but I really do like Bluey. I think Bluey's pretty
I
great.
don't know anymore, bro. I don't know whether a guy is a girl is a guy, or
Please
I don't
don't
know
get into
anymore.
this with me. I can't do this right now.
I don't know what it is
Okay.
anymore. I can't even tell what I am anymore. What am I?
What am I?
Because sometimes I'm a OB-GYN by trade.
Oh,
Next day I'm a
please.
trainer by night.
Okay, so we diverted so poorly onto dude, this guy did just copy us on magnesium.
I told you he
What a
did.
copycat, bro.
We did it first.
Okay, so I had a family friend reach out, and this is exactly the kind of stuff I had been asking some of our patients or just people in general, like, hey, give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys want to see, what we can do in terms of early guests. And she put me onto this guy, and I thought it was somebody else that it turned out not to be, but you and me both have kind of already started looking at his stuff. And I think he is a little bit interesting. I think you and I both were kind of noticing that honestly looks like a pretty legit dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
It looks good. I mean, he is a doctor.
He is a doctor. He
Yeah.
is a PhD in nutrition, right?
Oh,
Doctorate in
nutrition. Yes.
nutrition,
Doctor in nutrition.
thousands of clients. But
Thousands.
look, you and me both are saying this, man. Like he does look. We're being our jackass usual selves in some senses. But he is
Wait, what? I never am. What are you talking about?
right. That's why people that we're just the lovable ones that way.
That's right.
But this guy looks good. You and me, I have listened a little, and I need to listen more over my vacation, which is coming up in literally 5 hours. Um,
Whoa. You're already leaving in
uh,
5 hours?
uh-huh, uh-huh.
What does that mean? How does that work?
Man, we'll get to that real quick. You
Oh,
always
okay,
like
cool.
to jump the gun question, bro. Like,
Sorry, dude.
let
I
me
don't know.
finish.
Oh, dude, I just saw one. Docs who lift. Ooh, these are doctors.
Hey, let me
Dang, that's pretty
finish
cool.
with
Okay,
our
sorry, dude.
guy here, Adrian Chavez.
Gotcha.
It's the Nutrition Science Podcast. This guy is doing kind of what, on some level, this is great. I think stuff like this is very beneficial because here's the thing. A lot of times people insist that it's like the patients that insist that the doctor put in their IV versus a nurse, and the nurse is like sitting there staring at him like, dude, I put in more IVs in this shift than that doctor's put in the last 2 years.
Whoa.
Right. And so it's all about specialization of care. It's all about being absolutely educated and specialized and the absolutely most appropriate person to dedicate their time to that particular subject or issue. And so with this guy, Adrian Chavez, I like dietitians. I like nutritionists who, again, I mean, they can be a very, very good resource. And you and me don't want to sit here on every podcast and every episode talking about talking about soy for a straight hour. Now, we both did notice that this guy's very last episode, bro. I mean, again, he
Yeah.
took my magnesium. Like
Yeah, dude,
that
they
was
took it.
my secret to life. Okay.
Yep,
And
your topical
it's
tropical
it's
magnesium.
it's getting broken out. I
Yeah,
will
we're gonna
say
have to reach
too,
out
what
to
I'm
them.
noticing. No, and I'm gonna listen to him some of the vacations, see what it's listening like, and where we might have some ways to either join. I'd like him to come on, and we can talk to him about some stuff. But we'll just have to see. Seems like
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
educated and good resource for people. And these are like 15 to 20 minute episodes. You're not getting in for the ride like you are with us to try to break down an hour of meandering off shift talk about whatever we're feeling like. This
Whatever,
guy's
dude. This is weekly dose of fitness, health, and everything in between, bro.
it is
Yeah.
we do
So,
tell people
yeah,
that.
we
So
tell
don't
them
get
that. So
mad at
weekly
me
dose. So you
when I am a
yeah.
Dr. Martin and you're like, where's the doctor in this? Some
Who's the
shows there's
doctor
not going to be
today?
much.
Hey there, Stuart. I'm a nerd today again. I forgot. You remember that
uh,
guy? Hey there,
no,
Stuart.
we'll get to the nerd part too.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what I'm talking about. Let's go. Get out of here, Mr. Chavez. We'll have you on the
Yeah, we're
show.
done with Adrian
We'll
Chavez
have
for
him on. He
now,
looks good though. He
bro.
really does.
So, okay, what were you gonna ask me about? You were gonna ask me about something, dude.
We said naked and afraid. Hmm. You haven't gone to see Jurassic World yet, have you?
I have, dude. I see every
Dad,
movie now.
why do you always have to ruin my life with
Yeah,
movies?
bro. Yeah, bro.
I
I
love
saw it,
Jurassic
and then I
World.
went. I went to a July 4th party. It looked a lot like this, bro.
Let me see it. Dude, that's wrong, dude. Okay, let's be serious here.
What? Why is that wrong?
Well, that's wrong. When did they make that though? Was that after or before? Look at
After or
the
before what?
we really?
Are you talking about the flood?
Yeah, man,
That
that's
has nothing to
bad.
do
That
with the
has
flood.
everything to do with the flood. See,
It
this
has
is what's
nothing
wrong
to
with
do with the flood.
right here, dude.
Bro, the
It,
flood thing, like that, I
that's
know
so
we kind of,
bad.
we've been, yeah, I mean, we've been
How
walking
sad, dude.
around that.
How sad.
It's so sad. I will say, so I have few thoughts on that without being political.
There's no political about. We could talk about this all day. There's no politics involved. Don't smirk. There's nothing. You
No,
shouldn't even.
look,
No.
no.
See, this is
To
where
me
you
on this,
no.
Andrew, there is no politics about tragedy. There is no politics to tragedy. Have you seen anything about the pediatrician?
No.
Then you have no idea really truly what I mean. So there was a pediatrician in Texas actually that came out with something on social media basically saying that Texas gets what it deserves for
Oh,
the fact
dude,
that
that's
they
wrong, man.
I
Why would you
mean,
say that?
no kidding. No
What?
kidding.
Okay, that's
So
dumb. That's the stupidest
100%,
thing.
like I don't even know how
These
you
little
could say
girls,
something
dude.
more wrong than that.
These young people, man, that don't get
I,
to live their
I
lives.
understand.
That sucks. That dude needs to get his. I would love to punch him right in
It's a
his throat.
woman.
Her
It's a
too. I'd
woman.
punch her right in her throat.
The TMB, the Texas Medical Board, has already made a statement.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
she's
need
already
to,
fired. She already
yeah,
got
they need to
fired from
get
her
her out.
job.
That's the dumbest thing anybody could ever say.
It is.
That's
I mean,
dumb, dude.
like I actually, again, so to be very clear and intentional about what I'm saying, what I said to Katie when she first told me about it before I looked it up myself was that, I mean, again, just to come from a physician in general, a comment like that, let alone another human being,
Yeah.
is just reprehensible. And
Yeah,
like
dude.
again, doctors are supposed to comport themselves exactly to a
Level up,
level of
dude.
compassionate behavior that extends to outside of their job. If you saw somebody that was supposedly a doctor acting just like maliciously towards people, it wouldn't matter that he wasn't on the clock at work. It
Yeah.
would make you judge that doctor.
Yeah.
And that's again why there's a lot of respect given to doctors, but it must be upheld to deserve that respect. And that's reprehensible. Now, this is truly tragic what's happening.
It is tragic.
I actually so again, I didn't know the Camp Mystic kind of connection to this until like I started seeing more on it. I thought it was this other Heart and whatever one. I mean, Camp Mystic had a bunch of that has a huge Houston connection. There's a lot of like people I grew up with that went to Camp Mystic. So it hits home a little even more. And it just like,
yeah,
it's
bad.
It's wild. I mean, the actual like weather and thing that like the videos of how that happened are just wild, and it is not the time to talk about politics of it. I will say that with you.
That's true.
But
yes,
look,
but yeah,
look,
no,
Andrew,
there's not.
Andrew, this is
there's no
so
reason.
I just want to
There's no
make
reason
one
to.
point. I just want to make one point.
I'll let you make one point. That's it.
It is always so. Let's separate ourselves from this flooding thing because again, not gonna even try to say anything other than that is like it's horrific. It like makes me sick to my stomach thinking about those little girls and like their parent, like everything about that. What happens though after things like the Pulse nightclub shooting and the Vegas shooter and all this stuff is that you get a lot of, our thoughts and prayers are with these people from one side of things. And then it becomes like, this shouldn't be political. This shouldn't be political. And then we just kick the can down the road. Now, again, this flooding event has something that the New York Times, I'm just bringing this up because it has been said. The New York Times reported on the fact that there were cuts from the Doge department around 3 staffings, particularly that were very relevant to the warning and emergency coordination area that this affected. Now, again, I am not willing as a science and evidence-based medicine professional. You cannot say with 100% clarity that those absences 100% caused either that the event would have not happened or that it would have been worse or better if they were there. You can't do that. You can't.
You can't. Good try.
Good try. But you have to understand that that's where the conversation is going. And they quickly, obviously, went straight up to Trump about this and asked him, do you think there might be any correlation or issue with the staffing cuts and it's like him and somebody in his, like the chief of staff or somebody. I don't know who's with him. But do you want to know what his response basically boiled down to? It's Joe Biden's fault.
It is, bro.
So that's where, and that's
that's another thing though too.
You can't.
He can't respond like that.
Don't make it about politics.
He can't respond like that though. He needs to respond with, "This isn't a time or place to speak about this. Let's
let's focus on
Let's
how
focus on
tragic this is
helping
and try to support these families.
support these families. I
But
understand that
Andrew,
this can
that's
be, but you can't. You
that's
can't.
vitriolic, man. That's what I'm
No,
saying
dude.
is like this.
No.
You can't have, it's like even
That's
when
what's
you
wrong
don't
with the
want to make it
country,
about
dude.
politics. I know that's
That's
what
what's
I'm
wrong, dude.
saying.
Well, your argument stands. I
Yeah.
agree with that. However, people not focusing on these little girls and their family need to get
No,
punched in the
no,
throat.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
that that was that's just
No,
crazy.
I just don't even think it needs to be like, look, whenever tragedy happens, investigations happen, right? Investigations
Yeah, they're
and
gonna
journalism
investigate this
happen.
like crazy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so that's what starts to come out, and then then you start to see the political agendization of that issue, right? So like it's
Yeah.
always like, how can we figure out how this traces back to this person or that person? Or, oh my gosh, could this be related to that? And then you get it weaponized.
Yeah, Trump shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said anything like that. But it's not anybody. I think yeah, there probably should be more people working and doing things appropriately. Yeah,
Yeah.
there should be more alerts. Hell, I get, and that's the thing that we've become so numb
The
to
Amber Alert.
is the alerts, right? These are
Yeah.
big deals. But I can't speak for them. I wasn't there. I don't know what they were going through. It's always one of those things where you go, if I was there,
Mhm.
are you
Mhm.
sure? Are you sure you could I mean, those campers, they help so many people. People risking their lives, saving kids, doing those things. Like, would you do that? I
Yeah,
don't know. And that's what I always have issues with. It's like anytime I hear anybody, if I was, you don't know because
I
you're
I
never a
think
part of
people have
that.
a really hard time, myself included, with the concept of what like this is in almost a smaller sense is a tsunami.
Yeah,
Because tsunamis just don't register for me, right? I'm kind of like, why are people dying from a freaking 10 feet of water coming up the coast or whatever? Like, but it's just this kind of when you talk actually do you know the stats on this one in like the Yano area or whatever, like by Kerrville? Apparently the water level rose by 30 feet in 1 hour.
gosh, yeah,
So that's
that's
like a
crazy.
three-story building
Yeah,
going up.
yes, there's
So
nothing you could do.
so I'm saying is like when I lived on Galveston Island during my med school time, we had Ike hit, and I was on the second story of a town, like a townhouse building, and still in Galveston. I think they have the water level lines around Galveston where Ike got up to, and I think like with Ike, it got up to like 12 feet, so like almost got
Yeah,
into my
yeah,
apartment, but like 30
man,
feet is hard for me to even conceptualize. And you watch these videos like the water come in, it's just
dude, crazy.
it's not killing like that's I think people just minimize like, well, that's like, that's like a wave pool. Like I could just
No,
wade out into no, it is like the sheer force of 10 freight trains hitting you, and then people die from the force. They don't die from water. Like, yeah, they might drown eventually, but a lot of it has to just do with the sheer force. Like you see these videos and there's just like things starting to it's like a tornado but with water. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And the little girls dying and all the people, I guess it's up to hundreds now,
it
but
is.
that sucks. It sucks. And it's hard to even think about. And I know what America's gonna do. They're gonna come after Trump, and they're always
I
they're
just
always
don't
gonna
think
blame somebody.
this doesn't have enough. The gun issue in America is always going to be a tough one because again, I own about 30 guns myself, and
Yeah.
I understand why people have the differing views of guns on either side, and that just tends to be a much more. I don't know. It's just for America, it truly is an American issue because Americans both want their Second Amendment right fiercely defended, but then
Yep.
we're also one of the only ones that has this like huge dark money gun lobbyist kind of arm to just it is such a big mire.
Doesn't make
This was
any
a flood.
sense.
I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, that's what I say is like you can't have staffing or not staffing and say it would have or wouldn't have saved this many or not. Like it was a natural disaster act. You don't want to say an act of God, but it was like literally like Noah's freaking ark in the middle of Central Texas.
Yeah, and in the world, I mean, there's even a deeper thing. Like you could say, like, I know this is always an issue, global warming. There's always something, dude.
Look,
The world's changing, bro. The world,
extreme weather events are
yeah,
becoming
they're
more
becoming
frequent
more frequent.
because of
Yeah,
the climate crisis. Sure. I don't ever try to take any one individual of them and
no,
go,
no,
that's because of, we're not paying
no,
it.
no.
So we are, as a world, neglecting taking care of the earth. I
Yeah,
don't think always, I think that's I could get very, very deep in terms of thinking and talking about how tragic that is, because I do think ultimately we're all passing the buck globally to one another. And that's why Trump did what he did.
Yeah.
We're definitely, I think one of the biggest concerns that we just don't talk about, everybody thinks, the world will end with nuclear war at some point, probably. And I don't think that would, I think our biggest odds right now is us burning ourselves up and destroying our home.
Yep.
But again, it's not for today to debate whether that needs to change because of a natural disaster that it's kind of out of everybody's hands.
Yep, and
And like you
that's
said, that's a tragedy.
just prayers for all the families, man. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot, and especially when it hits here in Texas, it hits even harder.
Yeah. One thing I did like seeing was some stuff on HEB. They're like, they call it the FEMA of Texas. Cause I mean, HEB started out by Kerrville. So apparently HEB's got this whole disaster relief team and they're like sending all these
Yeah,
semis out to there. So like, you do gotta love that about Texas is there are just some like very home baked institutions and companies that
yep,
have always been very good. And HEB is probably one of the best, honestly, in terms of
for
like
sure.
just being like, we are gonna take care of our own because that's who makes us up.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about this too is anytime it happens to kids, it just eats
I
you.
mean, like, what they're
It
innocent.
just rips your heart out.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I don't know.
it makes me sick usually because again, I start thinking about how my thing that bothers me a lot is like just thinking of the how the fear. I hate that for kids being in situations like that, whether they make it or not. I mean, even the kids who made it out of this, who survived, they're probably not. That's a scary thing to go through.
For sure. That's it's devastating for our
Yeah.
state, and it's
So we
devastating for those.
are both of us very sorry and thinking about those families. I'm sure everybody is in Texas. So I don't want that one person that's a pediatrician too to speak for the state. And I feel like a lot of doctors I've already seen on TikTok have already just straight out condemned that lady, and good for them for doing it. I'm not going to get so aggressive to like actually figure out her name or anything, but obviously I completely would never think that's appropriate or okay. And I would condemn it in the harshest terms myself.
Yeah, I hope nothing bad happens to her because, gah, that's some
She's really regretting that post, I'll bet you
I
about
bet
now,
she
but
is really quickly.
yeah.
That's why you
Okay.
gotta you can't say what's on I don't even know, whatever.
Well,
Anyways.
so me and Katie talked about that a little too. Is like doing social media stuff. I mean, it doesn't. You can always end up making a mistake. You can say something before you think necessarily here or there. But I think it's pretty easy to not say something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's where I was kind of like, I just don't, you can come back from I shouldn't have said that or I wasn't thinking but like that one is just like that's so like Mm, like
Yeah.
that is completely tantamountly opposite and juxtaposed to how you should feel about this. So yeah, again, I don't think there are very many Texans feeling very much like they want to call her a fellow Texan right now.
No, she's out. See you later,
You're out.
partner.
You're voted out. You can go to Oklahoma.
That's right. Get the heck out of here.
Okay. So I will always be a Texan through and through, but I will be in Aruba.
Aruba, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda.
Yeah, yeah. I love the Muppets version the best, not the Beach Boys. Anyways, we're leaving tonight.
How does that
I
happen? How
will
do you leave tonight? Like, how does that work?
flights at 5 a.m. and it's international. So we're gonna leave at
Uh,
like midnight.
international.
Actually, I've been told now we're leaving at 11 p.m.
How do you leave it at 11? You just drive somewhere or
It'd be yours truly driving the ladies and my little boy to DFW airport. So that's why I'm drinking these energy drinks. I'm kind of like trying to wake up again because I slept late
Wha
this morning, but I'm
man,
kind
so
of
you waited to do this podcast episode, so you that's what's keeping you here?
basically, I'm doing a
Oh my
podcast right
gosh. Yeah,
before
that's a
we get
crock
out
of
of town,
lie.
man. And I have I have so much fun stuff for us on the docket. Hopefully, we should try to reach out. I will try to reach out to this Adrian Chavez guy eventually here too. What I have as interesting kind of things to do is I'm going to be working on my CME a little bit while I'm doing some beach reading, right? So I got all these articles to read. And I have so much great information to come back with. We have so many topics to talk about medically soon.
Yeah. You're gonna be doing lots of reading there, Dr. Martin, I guarantee it.
Well, so in between like, after the reading, definitely be throwing some dice at the casino a little
Yeah.
bit. Love my craps. So definitely going to be playing some craps. And then we're going to go to the beach and the pool a lot, I think, too.
Is that the one where you're like, 1,000 on red, 1,000
Nah,
on
dude, that's
black?
roulette, bro.
Oh, sorry.
Come on
I
now.
don't play I don't,
No, craps is
lose my
this
money. I
bad
mean, I
boy,
don't,
dude.
what is it called? I don't have enough money to do anything, so
I mean, don't get no money.
I don't got no money.
Nah, dude, it's the dice. I might end up there by the end of the trip. Dude, I always think of Chevy Chase where he's like, he runs out from the brunch and goes and like loses $1,000 before they like, and
1,000
I'm
on
just
red.
like he's in the throes of absolute gambling addiction. And I'm like, oh my God, I will never, like, I can never let myself. Gambling is very fun, but it is as addicting as some real things out there. So I try my best to like, the golden rule of gambling is you always go with the set limit in mind and you can never go above that. And my limit's like usually about $5.
There you go.
Hey,
There you
bro,
go.
you know what? I've been getting a lot of, and just as a one last little plug for the week, because again, we just need to always remember that you have to be working on yourself even on vacation. You shouldn't just totally let go, right? You should try at least to kind of you should enjoy yourself. You should enjoy eating. But there's no reason after like being
Don't
on
let go.
vacation, you can't, like, if you're 8 days there, yeah, I'm packing my workout clothes. Cause you know what? I also hate overpacking. So I know that if I pack my workout clothes, I know you think I won't go work out, but
You
I'm gonna
won't.
go find
You
that
won't.
gym.
You won't.
I'm gonna.
All right, let's do
Because you
this.
know what? I don't want to be Mr. Sims here.
Oh, gosh.
I'm percusizing.
Oh, that's a good ending right there. That's
That
good.
is one of the best movies of all time, too. I would firmly recommend, if you have not seen Heavyweights ever, you must go watch it. And if you haven't seen it in the last 10 years, do yourself a favor because percusizing will change your life.
Yeah.
Congratulations, lunch is canceled for a lack of hustle.
I like it. I like it.
All right. So next Sunday. Okay.
Wait. What?
So yeah, next Sunday we're gonna be off. So I am gonna try to have this edited
Yeah,
and
you
ready
will.
to go so we can
Yeah.
upload it later this week. There will not be a Sunday episode this week, but next week. So when we will be back again, guys, is, let's see here, Dr. Martin struggling as
All
a
of our
producer
10
right now.
listeners. Yeah.
20th.
Oh.
Yeah, 20th will be fun. That'll be the day we pack up before you move.
Oh,
As
yeah,
you
you
guys
won't be
can
doing
tell,
it.
I don't even have my
Yeah.
freaking chair anymore. Maybe, hey, could I come over there and do it? Let's do one
No.
together.
Well,
Come
I
on,
guess
bro.
we could do one together. It'd be kind of
Yeah,
funny.
dude.
Hey,
That'd be
welcome
fun.
back to another episode. Dang it, Stuart's here. Dadgummit.
Well, let's try to get that right. I'll hit you up when I get back on the 17th, and we'll try to figure out what the best setup is for us, and we'll go from there.
All right, man. You have a great time in Aruba.
I will. I'll be texting you. Don't worry.
Enjoy unemployment and vacation at the same time. I appreciate
I
you.
will
for
do.
everything that
You
do.
take care of Texas while I'm gone, and don't
Oh,
be Ted
yeah. I'll keep
Cruzing
going
it
to
up,
work
all right?
at 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5.
All right. You got anything else for our listeners this week?
No, that's it. Tell Dr. Martin to have a great time. Reading all his articles.
I got them loaded, bro. And for the Muscles and Malpractice family, have a good week to you and your growing family. And best of Julys from Aruba. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
See ya.
Keep that 40 just in case. She burn like a lamb, nothing pretty but her face.